Alright, so Wendell and I are getting ready to prepare some lunch, and I brought a new stove along with me today. It is the Uberleben Flatpack stove. As the name implies, Uberleben, it is a German company. It has full stainless steel construction. I'm really excited. So the plan today is to both cook on this stove and see how quickly we can get a ½ liter of water to boil. And it seems really solid. It's got a lot of holes on the bottom to let oxygen in. It's got a relatively good sized feeder hole front, and then it's got more areas where oxygen can come through the side. But it's all press fit stainless steel. I'll show you how to break this down later. All press fit stainless steel that feels so far really solid. It comes with a nice little carrying case, so 2 decks of cards roughly wide, but really thin, probably only ½ an inch or less, 3/8 of an inch thick when it's fully packed down. So this thing is super packable. Luckily I caught a brook trout right off the bat this morning. We didn't really bring any lunch, so that'll be perfect. It's chilling in the water right now. I clipped its gills, so I'll fillet that up, and I brought a nice MSR skillet that we can cook it up. So not only do I want to, see how this thing gets a good pan sear on a fish fillet, but I do also want to boil a ½ liter of water. A ½ liter of water is generally what those dehydrated or freeze-dried meals require, so this is one common use for this. Obviously, one great thing about these stoves is you don't have to bring any fuel with you. In theory, fuel is everywhere in the woods. What I did, took me about 15 minutes to just scour the surrounding area and find a bunch of balsam and potentially some spruce, maybe some white pine twigs that will burn really nicely in this. I've also got some birch bark. I'm going to use birch bark and a little bit of cedar I brought to help increase the boil time. I want to get that really hot and see how fast we can boil. So here it is, the Uberleben Flatpack stove. Can't wait to check it out. The first test I'm going to do is start a fire in here and boil in a titanium pot this ½ liter of water. So I'll have that ready. I'm going to load this up with the birch bark I brought and these little, I think, white pine or probably balsam twigs. And it seems like this will be easier to load first than secure. Yeah, this is going to go in no time. Alright, let's get it started. One thing I should have talked about before I got this started is to clear a space out around your fire. Make sure you have a safe perimeter so you're not starting the forest floor on fire. Alright, I got a really good coal base, so it's time to start building this thing up. Alright, I've got it pretty full and it's burning pretty consistently. So here we go. Start the clock. There's a twig there that'll burn down. This will level out. There you go. It's pretty resilient in the wind. Ooh. Just gonna get soot all over my pot. Downside to twig stoves, soot everywhere. 145. Until it's starting to get hot. It's bubbling. This is pretty easy to keep roasting. It's not hard to keep up with, but keep in mind if you're cooking a meal or something, you're probably going to have to do all the prep work first because you're not going to be able to be fiddling around with other stuff. $3.30. I would say another minute. Alright, 5 minutes and just about 15 seconds. Boiling. I heard it going in there, so it was right around 5 minutes. Alright, I'm going to let that burn down. We'll build it back up for the fish, but I haven't filleted the fish yet. I wanted to keep it as fresh as possible, so I'll be back. I don't remember which is which, but I got some Lowry, some Old Bay, and Cajun that I'm going to put on these bad boys. Not too much seasoning in my opinion. Brook trout is delicious on its own. Doesn't need much. A little bit of seasons. And then what I like to do, let's get a high quality butter. This stuff is hand churned Amish butter. Put a lot of it in a skillet. Get that skillet blazing hot. Stove hot. Like very hot. Basically going to try to deep fry it in butter. Shallow fry, I guess. Looks like it's on level. Those are some of the reddest brook trout fillets I've ever caught. This is incredible. I'm going to use more butter. I'm going to cover it. That skin won't burn. There's tons of fat in it. It's a protective layer. I really like to get it hot. That's why I think this stove is going to be perfect for cooking trout. Wendell, get your nose out of there. I know you're hungry. You're going to get some fish. Don't eat my butter. Alright, it's a little too hot, so I'm going to back it off. Wow, look at the way that's cooking, though. My goodness. Basically frying and baking it at the same time. Back off a little bit on the heat. Little old trick. Got some extra butter, rub it into your hands. Backwoods moisturizer. I think another 2 minutes and these are going to be done. Can't wait! I think the stove won't be easy to cook on. You gotta be a little more attentive. But it's certainly not hard to keep it up to heat. Time for the flake test. If it flakes apart easily, it's done. Oh yeah. Yep. Oh yeah. We're done. Look at that crispy skin. And some trout butter topping. Wow. This is incredible. Wow. So, another thing. The skin is a great protective layer so you don't burn the meat, but it also tastes delicious. Not everyone enjoys trout skin, but I am a person who does. Wow. This is one of the best Boundary Waters meals I've ever had. Look at that. Wendell really wants that trout. Go ahead. Eat it slow. Wendell. Eat it slow. Savor it. Go ahead. Well, this is amazing, but I cannot wait to get back out and go fishing. I know there are big fish out there. Alright, so I definitely give the Uberleben Flatpack stove 2 thumbs up. I really enjoyed using it. After using it, it developed that really nice patina, so it looks really cool. It's really not heavyweight at all. It doesn't take up any room in your pack, and it's always ready to go. Or wherever you have access to kindling, you can make a fire and warm yourself, or cook a meal or boil some water. So it's super convenient, easy to set up, easy to break down. The reliance on kindling is nice. It could be a negative if you just got a big rainstorm, or it's winter and you don't have access to dry firewood, but I don't really anticipate that being a problem. It doesn't require much fuel to get water to a boil or to cook a meal. It ran a little hot. I was still able to cook my fish the way I wanted it, but it was probably overdone just slightly. Once I get better at learning how to feed the stove, I'll be able to control that temperature a lot better. So yeah, I think with practice, this will be a really nice stove, and it'll make it into my pack almost every single time. I'd say with, you know, this stove and a canister stove as backup, you're pretty unstoppable on a week-long trip or more, because you always have access to kindling. I'm looking forward to using this more, and yeah. Help me cook an amazing fish dinner for both Wendell and I. What do you think, bud? Should we go out fishing? Should we go catch some more trout? One is not enough, huh? Should we catch some more? What do you think? Should we go fishing? Okay, we're going.